The following program is recorded content created by the Truth Network.
It's Matt Slick Live. Matt is the founder and president of the Christian Apologetics Research Ministry, found online at carm.org. When you have questions about Bible doctrines, turn to Matt Slick Live for answers. Taking your calls and responding to your questions at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Hope you all had a good weekend. I had a busy weekend. I always do, except for Sunday. I take Sundays off, and I watch a lot of TV. And my wife, actually, she's really good about it. She just kind of avoids me on Sunday. You know, she just lets me watch TV. I don't watch sports. You know, a lot of guys watch sports. It just doesn't interest me. But I watch stuff on quantum physics. I actually enjoy watching stuff like that, and astronomy, the Big Bang, and science. And my wife and I on Saturday mornings we like to watch. This is going to sound odd, but we watch car wrecks. We saw some one day. I'm like, what the heck? Look at this! And so it became kind of a tradition for us on Saturdays. We'll watch it for a half hour or something like that. And it's a good reminder. Boy, it's a really good reminder on how to drive better. I'll tell you. So anyway, there's that, and what I'll say here is give me a call if you can, 877-207-2276. Everything should be working, and all the connections and everything look like they're in the right place. We always have problems, but we'll see. All right. And, wow, that's a good question. Let's get to Jamal from North Carolina. Jamal, welcome. You're on the air.
Brother Slick, thanks for taking my call once again, and I'm glad to see that reaction. I know you like the tough one, so I got another one for you.
Oh, you gave me a good one. Good tough one. This is a good tough one. Okay. Go ahead, ask it.
All right, so this, yes, sir. And I'll try to be respectful. So, from what transgender people go through the transition because they don't feel comfortable in their bodies for whatever reason. Some of them have struggles, and I won't get into all of it because I don't know. I just heard that some of them have struggles and challenges. With that being said, if they are transgender, should they, and they have some struggles, some of them, should they be allowed to have high political office and high business office and to sit on boards and school board and all that other kind of those kind of positions?
No.
Okay.
And the reason I would say no is because they're going to be prejudiced towards sexual perversions in schools. They're going to be for all kinds of stuff. If they're going to go that way, and they don't even know what they are, and they're going to, which I think they got some serious issues. They need some help. They need some counseling. Then you put them in positions of power. They're going to be pushing that kind of stuff on everybody else. So absolutely not. I'd say no way. Okay.
And thank you for that. And I'm glad to see you standing firm on your values. I actually agree with that and share that response. I was kind of wondering how to frame that, which is another reason why I called. So you really helped me out with that. And pretty sure I think it's our department or Secretary of Health and Education or something like that for the country. He's transgender, Mr. Rachel Levine. And he has done what you said. I'm sorry?
Yeah, that's whacked. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Yeah, it's your show. Jump in whenever you want to. Of course. He's pushed for transgender kids to allow them to go through the transition. And this is a guy working for the federal office. He's transgender and pushing these kind of efforts on kids. So that just confirms your point, Mr. Slick.
Yep. The thing about, I've been thinking a lot about this from a spiritual context, and it's difficult to put my finger on it. And so all I can do is kind of think out loud. But there's the issue, there's a spiritual issue, because transgenderism is a denial of God's sovereignty and God's declaration of righteousness.
Okay.
And it's also a result of sin. And what I mean it that way is both the effect of sin on people, because people can have all kinds of problems, just because of how sin has worked in the world. And also their own, they could be affected by someone else's sin. Just it's going to be a natural effect. And then people can, how do I say this carefully? The affront by people upon people that causes them to have sexual confusion. Okay, so put it that way.
Right.
And then there's just self confusion at the hands of of propaganda and confusion that follows. So there's a lot of things there, and I think some of the people are mentally ill, but I think a lot of them just are not. I think they're just deceived, and they need counseling. So
that too.
Yeah, they do. And there's nothing wrong with going to see counseling. About various issues. I think it's good. So those are some of the things. But one other thing is, how do I say this? Because it's one of those things in back of my mind that percolates, and waiting for it to kind of manifest. But sexuality is the means of redemption, and because it is the means by which Jesus was born. And so sexual stuff like homosexuals, lesbian, trans, they are, how do I put this? They are I don't say an attempt, because the people aren't trying to do this, but they are in the way of that redemptive procedure. Now, of course, Jesus has already been born. But Jesus has already been born, so they can't back affect it.
Right.
But I keep wondering if I just don't know. I just keep wondering if there's some demonic influence going on upon people. That it's a purposeful affront to the created order of God. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, when you look at the Olympics, and kind of like how people are blowing off Joe Biden's mental decline. Oh, nothing to see here. You guys are watching the wrong feed, and then we see it on the debate for everybody to see, both left and right. Now it becomes something on the world stage to where nobody can deny that. And I tied that to the Olympics. And people might say, oh, you guys are overreacting about drag queen stuff and the mockery of Christianity, until you see it on the Olympic stage. Yes. Now, nobody can deny it now, believers and not-believers. Yes, we are being mocked. Yes, they are coming after us and nobody else. And nobody's mocking Hare Krishna and Buddha and Confucius and all that. They mocked Christianity. And they did that for the opening ceremony. And from what I heard, because I didn't watch it, I heard they also mocked it in the closing ceremony. So there's no denying that they're coming after us and mocking us.
Well, that's one of the things that's out of Genesis, Sodom and Gomorrah, because I talk about this there, that the, let's just say the sexually active community, let's just say that, was aggressive and dangerous. They were dangerous. They wanted to come in, and I don't want to, it might be children listening, so RAPE, they wanted to do that. And so Yeah, so I've written on it, and I can't help but think that there's something demonic behind all of it. Because the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities of darkness. And
there you go.
Ephesians 6:12. And so, we're going to be fighting something. Why is this the case? Well, in part, it deals with passions. Human passions are powerful, and the devil can use this kind of stuff to take people's eyes off of him and put it on their genitalia. And yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to write an article on this. And so I'm taking notes, okay? Because this is an interesting topic.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and also what'll probably happen is I'll probably get banned or something on YouTube or
I was just
someplace.
about to say that.
Yeah, I'll probably get banned for what my opinion is. And you guys, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in different countries in Europe now, they're starting to arrest people for what they say, their opinions about various things on Facebook and other places. Starting to arrest them. You can't say things. So it's becoming a Marxist, totalitarian, fascist system. And it's going to happen here too.
I'm not surprised, because when I hear about people being openly arrested for praying out in the open in France, I'm not surprised. And then Twitter, now known as X, being banned in Brazil, I'm not surprised. And then we have, I think the guy's name was Nader in Congress, saying that prayer does not belong on the Congress floor. It's like, dude, you know where your Constitution that you swore to, you know where that came from? It came from Christian Judeo values. But you're saying that prayer doesn't belong on the Congress floor. So sorry. I can go off on these other topics and can go all over the place. So I'll end this with this, and I'll let you get to other callers. So if I'm sitting on the board, if I'm the CEO of my company, if I'm some guy in a political office and a transgender hands me their resume and say they want to work for my company, work for my office, and I know what you said before, but I kind of want to frame it in the employer kind of facet. What can I tell them to why I cannot hire them?
Well, you have to talk to a lawyer at that point, because I don't want to give any bad advice. Right. Someone looks, but one of the things I found out through a lawyer is manifested in CARM, the statement of faith. So let me go to it. Let's see, statement of faith, and I'll explain why this is necessary. And furthermore, I'm waiting for my website to be shut down and me be arrested. It's just, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I pray that doesn't happen, man.
Yeah, and, I pray it doesn't happen either.
We also pray that doesn't happen as well.
Yeah, and also, I'm going to say this, I'll just take a little moment out here. Past few months, let's just say, the CARM presence on the web has noticeably declined. So, for example, the article, What is the Trinity? Used to be number 1, number 2, or number 3, depending. And now it's on the 4th, 5th, 6th page of Google. Now, hold on. We'll get back. I'll talk more about this and what's going with different ideas of value persecution and what may be coming. So hold on, folks. We'll be right back after these messages. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. If you want to give me a call, it's easy, 877-207-2276. Jamal, you still there?
Yes, sir.
All right, so your question prompted response and then a comment about how this will lead to persecution of Christians ultimately, the suppression of free speech, various rights and things like that. And then that led to me commenting that the CARM website, for example, What is the Trinity article used to be number 1, and now it's on the 4th, 5th page of Google. And I've kept records on things, and it's getting worse and worse. CARM has been around for 29 years almost, and it's had 164 million visitors. And they've written 6,000 articles.
Okay.
And yet there are sites that are far smaller who are more neutral, and they rank higher. So this is just a point to make that I've observed, let's just say, a suppression, shadow banning of certain kinds of information because of the people and the corporations that are in control. So if you have trans people and LGBT people who are in control in those areas, they are going to work shadow banning, information dissemination. They're going to work against it. They're going to also work against the proliferation of Christian freedoms and ideas, which stand in contrast to the LGBT mob. So this is coming.
There you go.
In fact, we have been affected. I'm going to take this as an opportunity. We've been affected by this. And so our traffic is going down, our donations are going down. And because people just don't see us enough.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, 2, 3, 4 years ago, I don't know if people are aware of this, there was a movement by some liberal people to try and get PayPal to defund and cancel conservative groups' bank accounts so they couldn't receive money and funds. They shut us down. Not us, but other groups now.
Wow.
Oh, no, it's for real. So when we found that out, we moved away from PayPal. We don't do PayPal anymore. And we have to go to another place. And we had to work all that out. And there's problems when you shift, because there are a lot of people still on PayPal, and it's fine, but we can't have new sign-ups because we can't trust PayPal. We can't trust the bank system that we're at because we notice that it's going liberal. How much longer before they say, well, I'm sorry, the Christian Apologetics Research Ministry has spoken of LGBTQ and said it's sinful. Therefore, we will not do banking with you. Your assets are frozen because of the law that was passed recently, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. This is the kind of thing that we're waiting for here at CARM. For real.
Yeah. And it can happen just like that. Jay Sekulow, which is also featured on this network, Truth Network, if anybody's wondering. Jay Sekulow, has said that this is a form of lawfare. If they can't take you down physically, they will just write you away out of existence.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And so all they have to do is go in and say that we cannot have any bank accounts here. So then what we would have to do is go to a bank outside the country and see if we could find one someplace that would let us work with them that wasn't too difficult to work. And then what the government would probably do when ministries start doing that is probably pass a law that if you do that, 50% or whatever it is now taxed. They work against conservatives. They work against it. This is why I keep saying to Christians, it's time to stand up and fight back. But the Christians, in my opinion, are taught mamby-pamby crap in most pulpits, not taught what we need to do and what we need to know in order to stand up and fight against the enemy. But if you start talking like I'm talking, then people say, I'm going to go to the church that tickles my ears, and that's what's happening. So anyway, it's a whole thing I've been saying for years and years. So, and we have a plan. I'm just rambling now, but if CARM becomes illegal, then hopefully what we can do is continue to email people on a weekly basis with information and articles that I would write and ask for support that way, because we support missionaries in Africa, 2 of them in Africa, and a full-time guy in Brazil and a full-time guy in Colombia who have boots on the ground, and they're talking to people and doing websites in those languages and issues that are there. We're supporting them, enabling them to do that and reach hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people in their countries for the Lord Jesus Christ. And that would have to be stopped, because I've already warned them. I say, look, it's getting thinner and thinner here in America as a whole, and ministries all over the place are being attacked. And I say, you guys just got to be aware of that it may be the case, because our funding is decreasing. I'm not complaining and whining, it's just decreasing as a result of the shadow banning and stuff that's occurring of the conservatives on the internet. So yeah, it's a serious thing, which is why I say, hey, if anybody's out there, they like what they hear on the radio, you need to support the people, not just me, but other people, because otherwise it'll go. And get this: did you know that there's a movement from the FCC to get AM removed? Did you know that?
I only heard about that again on Truth Network. I did not hear that anywhere else, and that is absolutely crazy. But again, that's an effort to silence Christian conservatives. That's
right, because Christian conservatives are mostly on AM. Yeah. Now AM has to go. And then what will happen is they'll probably going to get rid of people on FM as well. They'll pass some law, and then if you try and go to some other network, they're slow to follow, but they always follow, and they always do what they can to penalize people. After a while, and there's also been a movement to classify the Bible as hate speech.
Yeah.
Guess which?
I forgot. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, in Iran, I think it's Iran, if you're caught with the Bible in public, you can be killed or arrested. Yeah. So. Yeah,
they call that honor killing in some countries.
Well, honor killing has to do with families, and if a family member has done something, you can go and kill your family member. But Islam is an evil religion.
Yes, that's true. Sorry.
Yeah. So, but the political people in control, unless they're regenerate, they will become corrupt, because the regenerate people want to honor God in the responsibility of the position they're in. But those who are not regenerate, like Muslims, Roman Catholics, atheists, trans, LGBT, they're in places of power. They're not going to be submitting to the will of God, because they just won't. They're going to be taking, not all of them, of course, people will be taking kickbacks and favors, doing what they can do to promote their sexual agenda and their preferences. And Christians are an easy target, because Christians are waiting to get raptured out of here and not do anything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I thank you very much for your time. I said I was going to it a while ago. It's just real easy to have this back and forth with you, and also hopefully it's empowering to other people to stand up. And I offer this charge from, as some of you listeners know, from
there's music. Hold on. There's a break, buddy. After the break, you say your point, and then we'll move on. I want you to say it, okay? So hold on, buddy.
Okay.
Hey, folks, we'll be right back with Jamal, and then we'll get to, let's see, Luke, then Jim, then Elijah. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. It's the bottom of the hour. If you want, you can give me a call, 877-207-2276. You can also email me a comment or question. Just go to carm.org on your email, or just info@carm.org on your email. And put in their subject line, radio comment or radio question. We can get to them. Let's get back to Jamal. Okay, Jamal, buddy, you're back on the air.
All right, thank you for your time. I'll get off the phone real quick. My challenge to the listeners out there, whatever political stripe you belong to, ask yourself this question: which party will allow you to exercise your freedom of speech? Again, which party will allow you to exercise your freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, or lack thereof? One party will shun you and excommunicate you and counsel you for certain forms of speech and certain religions. Now, another party, I would say the conservative Republican Party, while they might not agree with you, from what I've seen, their stance on freedom of speech, freedom of religion, again, while they might not agree with you, they will protect your freedom of speech, and because they want to have freedom of speech themselves. So freedom of speech not only protects the person speaking, but it also protects the hearer as well. It protects everybody. That's why they have it in the Constitution, because they don't want anybody under any kind of persecution. So go for the party that allows you to be who you are, to say what you want within reason. And that's not going to be the other party. That's going to be more so the conservative party. We need to have our freedoms. Some other people don't have it. We need to have our freedom of religion and congregation, freedom of also lack of religion, freedom of voting. You need all your freedoms. One party wants to shut down your freedom. Another party wants to uphold your freedom. Vote for that party. Vote your values. Thank you for your time, Matt Slick, and God bless you.
God bless you. And, buddy, you need to move to Idaho. Be my neighbor. Yeah. Okay? Just saying.
Yes,
just
sir.
saying.
Sir. Again,
all right. All right, man. God bless. All right. That's Jamal from North Carolina. And let's get to Luke from Washington, D.C. Luke, welcome. You are on the air. Luke, are you there? Luke. I'm calling out to you, Luke. Lukeness. Let's see. Obi-Wan Kaluk. I don't know. I'm just trying something here. I don't know if he's there. Let's see. What would be another good thing to say? Luke, you're Lukey? I don't know. That's bad.
Hi.
Oh,
Matt,
I was just going to hang up. What do you got, man? What's up?
What does it mean to not despise prophecies?
To what? What is prophecy?
What does it mean to not despise prophecies?
There's one word I don't understand. Something. What does it mean to? What's the one word?
Not despise.
Not despise?
Yeah.
To not despise
prophecies.
What does it mean to not despise? What you're saying? You're asking, what does it mean to not despise the prophecies?
Yes.
Well, to despise means to be negative towards and have an attitude of revulsion towards or hatred towards. And so that would be to not do that, but I would assume to accept them. Why are you asking that?
Yeah, in 1 Thessalonians 5:20. 1 Thessalonians 5:20.
1 Thessalonians 5:20. Oh, no, it says, do not despise prophetic utterances. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Because as the non-cessationist that I am, that's a good verse. It says, do not quench the spirit, do not despise prophetic utterances. Actually, I'm going to see what the other Bibles render that. Let's see, 1 Thessalonians 5:20. Do not despise prophetic utterances, do not despise prophecies, prophesying. Oh, the NASB is the only one that says prophetic utterances. Interesting. All the other ones say just prophecies. And that's because the Greek me exuthenete prophetes. So, it's do not despise prophecies. And that's what, interesting, they add the word utterances in there. And it says, or gifts, the prophetic. Well, anyway, we're not supposed to despise them or negate them or be against them. Now, that's really interesting because I know of people who are cessationists who work against the charismatic issues, and they go around speaking against it. They are despising the prophetic, you could say. So interesting. Mm-hmm. The prophetic. That's right, because it's in the accusative. Interesting.
So you can tell me next day, tomorrow or something, if you think about it. Yeah.
Well, I got so much to do. I got to think. So it's interesting. It says in the Greek, do not despise prophetic, but it's accusative. It's the direct object. So it's referencing to receive the direct object. Let's see. Prophetic thing. It's like saying, do not despise prophetic, but it's a direct object. So it's like saying, I walked on the beach. The beach would be the accusative. It's the direct object. It's in that condition of being in that grammatical place of the direct object. So the word, don't despise the direct object. It's like, don't despise the beach. Don't despise prophetic. But it doesn't have a definite article, the. That would be really interesting if it did, but it doesn't. It just retains it at... this is interesting. It got me thinking about that. Why? So the prophetic... It's like saying don't despise prophetic things. So it's because there's no definite article, the. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Anyway, you got me thinking about it, okay? So...
Yeah,
anyway.
We can write an article about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the reason for this? What happened?
One of the pastors was telling me, do not despise prophecies. I didn't know. I don't know.
That he despises them?
He's not. He's a continuationalist. He's not a cessationist. He's a Pentecostal pastor.
Okay. Well, he's good in that area at least. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my Reformed brethren basically don't like my position. They don't like that I'm a continuationist. And they barely talk to me and accept me. So, okay. Well, that's what it is. All right. Interesting stuff. Yeah, 1 Thessalonians 5:20.
So I will get a credit today.
What's that?
I will get a credit.
You'll get the credit for me being despised? Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, sounds good. All right, buddy. Well, God bless, man.
Okay.
All right, we'll talk to you later. All right. Hey, if you want to call me, the number is 877-207-2276. Let's get to Elijah from Pennsylvania. Elijah, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Doing all right. Just super busy. That's just me. So what do you got, man?
My question is, do you think that Daniel 10:13 is a good verse to use to prove to people that Michael is not Jesus Christ? Because in the verse it says that Michael is one of the chief princes, but people who say that, they like to say that Michael is the pre-incarnate Christ. But this verse says that he's one of the chief princes, and the chief princes are the other angels, or the other high-ranking angels. The New Living Translation says one of the archangels. So, do you think this is a good verse against that? Because this verse seems to put Michael on the same level as other angels or other archangels.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think it's a good verse for that. It's not proof, but because proof is for logic and mathematics. But it is definitely a good verse to use against the error that Jesus is Michael the Archangel in the Old Testament. Now, I got to say this, that when they say he's Michael the Archangel, they don't mean he's an actual angel, but that the representative form of him is in an angelic form, though he's not an angel, he's a pre-incarnate word. But they're wrong about that. Hold on, and we'll be right back after these messages, okay? Hey, folks, be right back. Please stay tuned.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, and welcome back to the show. Let's get back on the air with Elijah from Pennsylvania. Elijah, welcome. Get back on. Okay, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here, and I digged into on Bible Hub on Strong's Concordance for the word chief, and it says Rishon, And one of the arguments that they like to use for Michael being the Preonic Crisis, because this word has many different meanings. It can mean that word before time, beginning, eldest, first, forefather, old time. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, words mean what they mean in different contexts, and so what we call that is a semantic domain. So the word green in English has a range of meanings. It has a semantic domain including envy, color, money, sick, naive, and more. So we can't take the meaning of the word green in one context and transfer it to another. That's called illegitimate totality transfer. So when you say this word has a meaning, then that's fine. No problem there, because words generally have a meaning. But there's some words that have many meanings, like the English word green. So I'm just saying, well, good. But then what I say is, if you're going to go into a specific word in the Greek, or in the Hebrew here, then if you see that it's only used in the other places, in all other places, in the same kind of context, the same kind of topic, then you could say, this is what it means. But here, you could say, it normally, it's used this way and means this, and here, given that domain, that semantic domain, we can conclude A, B, C. And I wouldn't be too dogmatic on it, but I would definitely bring that up. So it's a good point. Okay?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I have one more question. Out of Revelation 3:10, I had brought this up to you last week, but when I went back to read it after we had got off the air, I was like, oh man, I got to call him back and ask him about this. So in Revelation 3:10, if you continue reading in that same verse, it says the trials that will come upon the whole world. So that seems to be referring to the Great Tribulation, because that's the only type of trial that's going to come upon the entire world. So what are your thoughts on that? Because again, this is a scripture that preachers like to use to say they're going to be raptured out of here for the tribulation.
Yeah, it's not a very good argument, because there's the phrase, I'm going to find it, all the world was taxed. Let's see, I'm going to find it here in the Bible. And that is Luke 2. Let's see. Luke 2. Yes. Now, in those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that a census be taken of all the inhabited earth. And what it literally says is, in the Greek, it says a census, which is an interesting word, apographesai, taken of all the pasan tein oikomene. So that means all the inhabited, all of it just means all the inhabited area. So now listen, now I'm going to just do this again, go and see what the different translations do with it. And we go to, it says, NASB says inhabited earth, that ESV says all the world, King James says all the world, let's see, RSV, all the world, LEB, all the empire, Caesar Augustus, the entire Roman world, and NIV, the whole empire, CSB. So this is one of the examples where the Jews and people that speaking would speak metaphorically, in exaggeration, the whole world. And it says, for example, all of Jerusalem was going out to John the Baptist to be baptized. Well, all of Jerusalem? No, it wasn't all of Jerusalem. It was the majority, or maybe 1 in 10 out of 1 million people. And so all of Judea. I'm trying to find it. I've got it someplace. At any rate, the point is that it does say that. I did this thing, calculations on the issue of baptism and John the Baptist and how many people, because everyone was going out, and it says all all the inhabited area, all this, all that. And what you find is that they would often speak in exaggerations. So when you go to those kinds of verses, you have to be careful, because it may be literal, it may not be literal. So when you go to Revelation 3:10, something is coming upon the whole world, it might be, in all seriousness, you could legitimately say it means everything in the whole world, in the future tense. I don't have any problem with that. But it also might be that the issue and the idea of the time alone, then, that the tribulation was going to be all over the place there, and it's a phraseology, because both of those are linguistically and logically acceptable. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And also, a one post-trib preacher that I listened to said that the pre-tribbers like to say that it means that Jesus is going to take us out of the world, but what it actually means is that Jesus is going to keep us through this time of trouble. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't think the pre-tribbers are interpreting it right.
No, I would agree with you. In fact, I've got scheduled for release an article, a list of verses on because someone asked me, where's the article title? Let's see. List of scriptures on the return of Jesus Christ and the rapture. And that's scheduled for the 6th. That'll be released in 3 days on CARM. I just finished it today. And I go through and show that Jesus' return will be like the wickedness of Noah's time, where the wicked are the ones who are taken, not the good. When he returns, in Mark, he talks about the harvest. The wicked are the ones who are taken first at his return. And I show this to people. I got these verses right there. And go through the rapture, go through stuff. But anyway, Matthew 24, Jesus' return is after the tribulation. And that's when he sends the angels out to gather his elect. After the trib. I mean, it says after the tribulation of those days. That's what it says. It just blows me away how people can... it's okay. I gotta whine and complain a little bit. It's okay if people believe in pre-trib rapture. It's what you do with it in your heart that bothers me. If people are going to say, well, I'm not going to worry about fighting for the kingdom now because we're not in the kingdom of God, because it's somewhere else, and so I'm just going to relax because the enemy's going to take it over and I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to get raptured out of here. That's the problem. Because Jesus says at his return, he's going to take the wicked out of his kingdom, and there's only one return of Christ, and the return of Christ occurs with the rapture. So,
Yeah. Cause I remember one time I was debating with a pre-tribber, and I told him Jesus said in Matthew 24:29 through 31 that he's going to return after the rapture. I mean, return after the tribulation. But their counter argument was that Jesus also said that you don't know the day or the hour of his return. So their argument was
that doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because, oh man, you don't know the day nor the hour. Let's just say, hypothetically, that the pre-trib rapture is true and it happens on, let's just make up a date, January 1st, 2030, okay? I'm just going to say it. I'm not making a prophecy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying, using it as a hypothetical date. So that means if the pre-trib rapture is true, then it means 7 years to the day later, Jesus returns. You would know the day if pre-trib rapture was true. So it works against them. I always got a kick out of that argument. It's like, are you serious? Yeah. And
also I like to counter again with them by saying yes, he said you don't know the day or the hour, but he didn't say that you couldn't predict the month, the year, or the decade, or the century.
Or the time is season. He says, you know the times and the seasons. And he told the people, you know this is the storm's coming. And that's what we know. I mean, look at it. The leftist wacko morons are in power all over the world. They're turning our country step by step into a fascist dictatorial system where they're trying to get rid of our republic. It's not a democracy, ladies and gentlemen, it's a republic. They're trying to do that. They're oppressing. They're changing the laws, and they're going to do stuff. It's happening, So, I forget why I brought that up, but it's happening. So,
yeah.
And then Jesus is going to return to take us out of it. He is. But we got to go through it. Nothing in Scripture says we get taken out of this. In fact, here's a verse. We've got nobody waiting, so we can rant a little bit. Jump in. Just go for it. You got something you want to add. But, they'll say we're not appointed to wrath, but salvation, right? Not destined to wrath with it. And let's see, where is that? It's in first. Oh man!
Yeah, I know a good counter argument to that is that we're not appointed to wrath, but the tribulation is not God's wrath, because tribulation is what the world does to us. The wrath is talking about the bowl judgments in Revelation 16.
Right. There you go. And when it says we're not appointed to wrath, but salvation, what gets me is that they don't understand the Jewish juxtaposition that goes on. And it's not light, but dark. It's not good, but bad. It's not wrath, but salvation. What's the opposite of salvation? Damnation. That's what's going on. And people say, oh, the wrath is the 7-year tribulation period. Like, what? Where'd you get that? And, it's like, come on, stop. And then, don't forget, 2 men in the field, one is taken, one is left. See, we're getting out of here. That's the rapture. No, it's not. That's the wicked who are taken. Oh. You see, I'm a fighter, all right? I'm a fighter. I moved 26 times before I was 12. I learned how to become independent. I have a penchant for righteousness of the Lord Jesus Christ, and I believe that pastors should be equipping the Christians for the work of ministry. The work of ministry, all of them. Not the babysit of ministry. And that we can make a difference in this world if we're united. And we need to do that and get united. That's what we need to do as Christians. I believe in standing up and going into the wind and fighting for the faith of the Lord Jesus Christ once delivered. Contending for the faith. Instead of going, you know what? I'm serving a blonde-haired, blood Caucasian, serve for Jesus. I'm going to do nothing. Yeah.
I have a question about your upcoming article that you share about the release. Can you include Revelation 19:14 or I guess the whole chapter of Revelation 19, because pre-tribbers like to use that verse in that chapter to say that the saints return with Christ, and we're
out of time, buddy. Email me that. Just email me. Maybe I can add it in there. Email it to me at info@carm.org. Okay? Because there's the music.
All right.
See, we're out of time. Elijah, man, enjoy the convo with you. You keep it up, buddy.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Have a good.
You too, man. God bless. Hey, folks, hope you enjoyed that. Hey, if you want to support us, carm.org, carm.org/donate. We need it to stay on the air and do other stuff. May the Lord bless you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Out of here.
Another program powered by the Truth Network.